Oh, now you're giving directions on when I start my
Oh
channel?
my god, you asked if I was ready.
Well, this time at least we realized that I didn't know that I could like wave my hand or do something and that my phone would start recording because I'm an elderly man. And I was like, oh, it's recording. And then I got like really close to it, like a fucking like...
Yeah, it's like those wildlife that are being photographed. Yeah.
Or it's like a dog doesn't know that there's like a nanny cam thing going on, and the family is like get off the table, and the dog like goes. I like your shirt.
Thanks. I forget where I got it. Did someone send it to me, or did I buy it? I know that there is at least. I don't know, but I remember the last time I wore it, there are pictures of it in the Discord.
Okay.
Drinking.
Cry, little sister.
I fucking love this movie so much.
So years ago, and this has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, but years ago when I had the comic book store, we used to have little plates that would sit on the wall, like, you know, new releases or whatever, and then we'd always have staff pick.
Okay.
And for years, for the staff pick picture, it was the muscled up, oily saxophone player, but with my head, but they added a ponytail to it. So that was that for years. And he was Tina Turner's saxophone player. He's in like, you know, he's in like, you know, the music video for We Don't Need Another Hero and stuff like that. All right, so
nice. Hi.
A couple months ago, you got like super into wrestling.
Just a little bit.
Like to an uncomfortable level.
Yeah.
Like your one friend who gets really religious and you're like...
Yeah. I realized that because I visited my parents today before coming here, and I like couldn't shut up about wrestling, but they were like actually...
You posted a video, and I noticed your dad in the comments goes, is this real or is this practice?
Yeah, he was like, was this in a match or was it practice? I was like, no, this is an actual match. He is terrified of heights. I think that's where I get it from.
Yeah.
So the spot was one of our wrestlers was climbing up a fucking tall ass ladder and got knocked off the side of it and then disappeared for the rest of the night. And like even me knowing she's okay, I was like, I didn't like that. That didn't sound like she landed on the crash pad. Like I'm sure she did, but like did she though?
So you got super into wrestling.
Yeah, I got super into wrestling.
And you gravitated towards one Mick Foley.
I did. Of course I did. How could I not?
I know.
Like literally, it was actually great the moment that he was introduced in ECW. Because they're hyping up some like big person that Sabu's gonna be fighting, and I'd already loved Sabu. I'm like, I'm gonna hate this moment. Like whoever's coming in, like I'm rooting for Sabu, and they're like, I think it's Paul Heyman. He's like, there's only one person, like, or one man this crazy, you know, to go up against Sabu. And this they have this big ass like prop door and it opens and Mick Foley comes through in the cactus jacket. He just goes bang bang, and I was like, I already love this man. And then like I think his first match with Sabu, because that was his first 2 matches in ECW with Sabu. He like gets a frying pan at one point and starts like hitting himself over the head with it, and I was just like, oh, I love this man. You know, he's putting his body on the line. They played up that you know he obviously lost an ear, or actually that same year because that was '94. So he had like just lost his ear.
Yeah. And
he was like, Neil was telling me about how he did like the extreme matches over in Japan, and just every new thing that I learned about Mick Foley, I was just absolutely enraptured.
Yeah.
And so he was my favorite.
Yeah.
Like I got
dressed as him for Halloween this past year.
I mean because of him, like I immediately after getting into ECW, pretty much I bought barbed wire, and like just to like wear. And, like, I've got thumbtacks and whatnot, too, but, like, you know, I just...
For office work.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely office work.
Definitely for office work.
But, so, yeah, I just, particularly one of the promos that, like, really cinched it for me, I was like, oh, I'm him, right? He called himself a pain junkie, and I was just like, wait, that's the term, that's it. And, like, kind of a little revelation about myself, kind of already knew that, though, and then, like, I don't know, I really, like, I was... just obsessed with him. And so naturally, of course, now that I have started wrestling, I was like, I'm gonna be like him. Like, I'm gonna put my body through it all. Like, I want to just, I want to see what limits my body has and push past those. which I wanted. Oh yes, because so I actually backing up slightly. I think it was October. I think it was early October.
Okay.
He was up in New York for like one of the Comic Cons or whatever.
Yes.
And I was like, oh sweet, I'll go. But then like so it said on his website that he was going, but then the con didn't announce him, and they announced people who I thought were like smaller than him.
Yeah.
And I only mention that because I'm like, well then if he is there, why wouldn't you say something?
Yeah.
Like he would be drawing people, right? So poor Gerald starts emailing like the con and is like, hello, we saw that Mick Foley is listed as coming on his website but not yours. Is he coming? And they were like, keep an eye on the guest list. And we're like, yeah, we checked that.
Yeah, that's why we're asking.
So then he emails Mick Foley's team. I don't think they ever got back to him. And so I was like, all right.
Is that why you haven't watched on Hot Ones? Because you're in protest?
Oh my god, no. Yeah, that's like the one thing that for some reason I just... Oh yeah, because so... obviously I loved him in ECW, and then he left to be to go to WWF as Mankind, and so I was like, hey Neil, can we start watching everything that Mick Foley has ever done?
When you said it, did you do that?
I probably did. Sure, we have a recording somewhere, but yeah, so Neil has been dutifully picking out matches for me, and then as I started to be like, hey, I like that guy he went up against, can I see some of him too? Now I'm just watching full episodes of Raw from like 1998. But and we're also moving back to WCW now, but I digress.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's I was gonna say that because that's like the only Mick Foley content I haven't consumed aside from things I'm saving for spoilers. Some of his books. I just haven't watched him on Hot Ones. I don't know why.
It's sort of like they had this running joke for years that like on Jimmy Kimmel that like they ran out of time to have Matt Damon as a guest, who's like a way bigger star than like other people they would have on the show. This is kind of your running gag now that you haven't watched that.
I still haven't seen Hot Ones episode with Mick Foley. Read a quote from it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Well, there you go.
So Oprah, right? So the con. So I knew that like I'd have to take a day off of work. I'd have to get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Probably earlier actually to get the convention in time. Drive my ass up to New York, which is like 2.5 hours, depending.
Park it in New York Comic Con is like $200, you know.
And I was like, he is the only guest I give even a single fuck about.
Yeah.
I am not doing all of that to maybe meet him.
Exactly, yeah.
So...
And I sent you...
And then I found out he was there, and I was mad about that.
Because I sent you, he was also a guest at Nerd Bomb in North Carolina, but you were like... I'm not going to North Carolina. I was like, I'm just telling you where he's going to be.
No, I appreciate that. That's just like a 7-hour drive.
Son of a bitch.
But anyway, so I kept checking his website or something, or I'm also following him on Instagram and Twitter, and obviously I'm going to be following him.
And anytime I see anything now, I send it to you.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like the toys, the dress-up thing.
You send them to me and you tag me, and other people on Twitter tag me, and I'm delighted. I get tagged.
We're enablers, is really what we are.
Yeah, I'm in pushers. No, but so I find out that he's gonna be in New York again in March. Yeah. Which we are recording this on the 18th. And he was there yesterday. So I requested off of work, and I woke my happy ass up at like 10:30 a.m. yesterday. Because
Saturday night, you went from working all day to meeting me at the theater.
Yes, right. Oh my god, because I went to the Monster Factory. We had a birthday party in the morning at like 11 a.m. and so I had to wake up at like 8:30. And then
you drove to Phoenixville. Yeah, after that.
And then I drove to Phoenixville.
And then we recorded, and I think we left there after 2.
Yes, and then I had to pick up my brother from work.
Yeah.
So I got, and then we had to drop somebody else off. So I got home at like 4:30, 5 in the morning. I think I fell asleep around 6:30ish. So I actually got some sleep. Yeah. But yeah, so I woke up at like 10:30 to drive myself up to New York. And I was getting ready, and you know, Gerald and Neil are like, oh, you should totally like dress as him. I'm like, everyone's gonna be doing that. I got there, not a single fucking person. So I could have, but I did do one thing because I wore just like a dress that I really like. But I was like, on my way out, I was like, you know what? And I grabbed the barbed wire that I bought, and I wrapped it around my arm. And so I roll up and, you know, I find parking. It takes closer to 3 hours because the fucking traffic.
Yeah.
And like I'm parking, and then as I'm passing the store, which is just like this little collectible store up in Flushing. It was it's Wrestling Universe, in Flushing, Queens, and it's really, I mean, it's neat, but it's like small.
Yeah.
For like this event, I was like, Jesus, but
Was it crowded?
Yeah, I was in line for a while, but there were cops outside, and I was like, they're gonna take my fucking barbed wire, and like I wasn't so upset about that because I have more, but like also like
you need it for that situation.
Yeah. But so I get out and you know, I'm standing in line. The line was legitimately, I think I got there at like 2:30ish. Fixed my makeup in the car, so that's like 10 minutes. So I was probably in line by 3. Technically the event ended at 4, but as long as you were there by 4, they wouldn't cap off the line. So yeah, I think I finally got to him at like 4:15, so I guess I was in line for like an hour. It didn't really feel like it. I was chilling. But I was so worried about those cops gonna take my barbed wire. But then the photographer for the store is like, "Yo, that's sick." He was like, "Do you mind if I take some pictures?" So I have some really good shots of me with the barbed wire. He got me in front of they have like an ECW sign up, so he got me in front of that, and. When I got a picture of Mick Foley regularly, he was like, "Hey, wait, let's get another one, like, because I want the barbed wire." And when they were taking that picture, a couple people in the store started chanting, "She's hardcore." Fucking ecstatic, okay? Mick Foley took my wrist, hand area, and then people were calling me hardcore, and I'm... I'm so happy.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were going to function in that situation.
Better than I was expecting.
Okay.
Legitimately, Gerald, like, printed up these cards that was like, "Hello, my name is Metz. Here's where you can contact if I am nonverbal." Like, if I am
you're, like, severely autistic.
And he made up these little cards, and he was like, "All right, can you, like, make sure you like this wording? I'll print them off, mail them to you." And I kept being like, I'll get to it. And then day of, or, you know, night before, he's like, "Well, it's too late for the cards." I'm like, let's hope I function. Because, you know, I was going alone. So if I did miss or malfunction, I guess, like, then I was just gonna be alone in New York.
Like Macaulay Culkin when he was lost in Home Alone.
Alone in New York, trying not to pass out in front of Mick Foley. But no, it went really well. I didn't get talked to him quite as much as I would have liked, which is fair.
I think you would have done okay in Home Alone too, because I really don't think the Sticky Bandits would have a chance against you.
I guess not.
And you could have killed Donald Trump when he gave you the bad directions and thus saved us from the last 8 years of hellscape that we live in.
I just roll up and like, it wasn't a left.
Unless you watch this channel and you're a huge Donald Trump fan, and then in that case, he did the right thing by telling that young boy lost in the biggest city in America.
Oh my God. I don't know if I saw the second one, actually.
It's the first one.
Oh, it is from the first? Oh.
No, I mean, it's basically the same thing. Except for, like, there's a weird homeless lady who looks like Pierce Morgan who, like, controls pigeons.
Sure.
And
that sounds like New York.
And at one point, like, Daniel Stern, like, touches something that's electrocutes him, and for a brief second he turns into a skeleton.
Oh my God.
But that has nothing to do with Mick Foley.
No, it doesn't. Yes. But you know, I was, my voice got all, like, soft, actually. I got very, like, delicate for some reason. And then, like...
How did your soft voice go?
I don't know. I can't.
I was seeing if YouTube will also flag that.
Oh, right.
We'll do that in another video.
Oh my God. But, no, and then, of course, so I get up there, right, and he's sitting at the table, and I realize that he is on the barbed wire side, and I'm like, oh. So I'm like, all right, well, I was like, oh, let me not get you with the barbed wire. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, you've had enough of that, probably. I say as he's gearing up for his, you know, next death match, final death match, next year. But, yeah, so that was super nice. He was very sweet. I'm so glad I got to meet him. But yeah, and I got a couple things signed. So at first I was like, well, I had Neil mail me. He has one of the autobiographies. Yeah. And Neil mailed me that, especially because yesterday was his birthday. Yeah. So I was like, well, meeting Mick Foley on your birthday, I have to get something signed for you. And then now I was like, okay, well, what do I have that's like Mick Foley related?
Was the biography the white cover, the Mankind one?
Yeah, the one that Neil sent me was Hardcore Diaries.
Okay.
Which,
I remember we had that in the store for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have purchased. God, which one was that? He's got 3. I have one of them. It's not Hardcore Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
And then Neil sent me Hardcore Diaries to mail back, but he said I can read it first, obviously. And then, but then I was like, I don't want to get this shirt because I have 2. I don't know if you guys remember. I have 2 like identical like Wanted Dead Cactus Jack shirts, and I sleep with one of them and I actually wear the other. So I was.
You didn't tell him that part, right?
No.
Okay. Good. Because you could have been like, well, if only those cops would have cut you off at the pass.
Right. No, they were gone by the time I got out there, thankfully. But also, I knew that the photographer
poor
was
Mick
like,
Foley.
yeah, right. And I was like, I won't be weird. But like, so I was like, well, I don't want to get the one sign that I sleep with because then now, like, I can't.
Hi, nice to meet you. What's your blood type? And he just goes.
We obtained a tetanus shot because, but no, he asked me if it hurt. Actually, he was like, "That looks like it hurts. Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's not that bad."
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
You became an Asian teenager.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, "Oh, no, it's alright." Because people kept saying that they were like, "That looks really tight. Like, are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, you kind of get used to it."
Yeah.
Because I drove up there with it, so at that point it had been on me.
Oh, you
for
wore
like,
it the whole ride.
Yeah, it had been on me for like 4 hours.
Fucking committed to the bit, dude. Fuck.
It had been on me for like 4 hours, so at that point
But you suffer for that, but you can't watch Hot Ones.
I guess not.
You're not a real fan.
So you can see, every time I bent my arm, it poked me right here. You see, every time I...
Because it's barbed wire?
Yeah, and then I got stabbed there. I got a few good scratches.
How come we haven't reviewed the movie Barbed Wire yet?
That's a good question.
With
we talked
Pam
about
Anderson,
doing it.
yeah.
Someone posted it today. I saw it on my Facebook feed. But, oh yeah, so I had that, and then I knew I had a couple of, like, Mick Foley DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
I have, like, Best of Cactus Jack and then, like, Cactus Jack the early years.
Yeah.
Which I think, even though I mentioned ECW to him, I think that's from WC. I think those are his WCW years, which I do want to go back and watch. And then I was like, I was trying to decide, and then I realized that I had too many Mick Foley things. I was like, I can only get, like, 2 autographs plus Neil's. So I was like, oh, shit, okay. But I just packed all of it. And then I picked ones I got there. So, like, I think I brought that yo-yo the one time.
Okay.
It's like a Mankind yo-yo. I don't know. I thought that would be kind of unique.
Oh, yeah, I remember you got that. Yep.
And then, yeah, I had him sign the early years Cactus Jack thing, and then Neil's book. So, and also, I didn't realize, so I sent all the pictures, because the photographer had me on Instagram and sent me all the pictures he took. I didn't realize he took a picture of Mick Foley signing the book.
Oh, cool.
And, like, you can see the yo-yo and the DVD in front of him. So technically, I guess I can use that picture to get it authenticated.
Yeah.
Which I might do because then protection, I guess. I don't know. There's something. No,
from
like
who, the mob?
No, like insurance. If I get it graded or something, I don't know.
Yeah, protection money.
No, like essentially insurance. That like, hey, I don't know.
No, I get you.
If technically, yes, if I ever decide to sell it, which I won't because why would I? But yeah, no, I'm so happy. That was absolutely worth it. I kind of looked around the store to see if I wanted to get anything. Nothing jumped out at me. But oh my god, I'm so glad I did it. Because like it was funny though, because on my way I was like halfway up to New York and I was like, wait, he's probably gonna be in Philly for like WrestleMania week. I probably could have waited. Until
but you were already on the road at that point.
Yeah,
well, like, it's different though because it's about.
Yeah.
The adventure
Exactly.
and you going yourself to meet him and you know and getting all excited. Like I literally, as I was driving home from the theater on Saturday,
I went to check out that store anyway. It
was
pretty cool.
But as I was driving home from us hanging out to review, I was like thinking like all of the ways that this could go wrong,
Really?
and I was just like, oh, this is good for the channel because like if you like disassociate and like bite Mick Foley, imagine the views that we get. They're like, isn't that your co-host? And I go,
bit Mick Foley.
Was. Yeah, you won't be seeing them for a few years.
Oh, that's fair. Oh my god, no, I held it together so much better than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Once I stepped into the store, I got really shaky, and the photographer was like with me, and he was like, "You're good, you got this." And I'm like, "Thanks." And then afterwards, he's like, "See, you did it." I'm like, "You were being way too nice right now. I appreciate it."
Well, I can't imagine that a bunch of that many attractive humans
that's
come into there, you know. So he was probably like, fuck.
You
know, like.
Well, so that's the thing. So, okay, I mentioned I was expecting everyone to be in, like, some sort of Mick Foley cosplay, and, like, nobody was. But also, I was wearing, like, that shiny dress that I have that's, like, PVC with the really, really thin straps that always look like they're about to break at any given moment.
PVC bondage looking one?
Yeah, no, it's not that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, but not that one. So, which I'm a little sad, the ass on that is starting to fray at the seam.
I saw, yeah, you showed me that, and then something else that was fraying like that, and I was like, why is it just wearing at the ass?
Because I have a fat ass, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding, I don't know, but anyway,
Seems like a structural flaw in the
right?
garment.
And also that I think I'm getting, like, noticeably more beefy because we can't zip up, like, the last, like, inch super well anymore. Like, it's like a struggle. And I'm like, oh, my shoulders are big. That's cool. Yeah, and when I visit my parents today, they haven't seen me since Thanksgiving, I think. So they were like, all right, you're looking good. I'm like, thanks.
And then you bent a steel rod
yeah.
and then bit it.
Right. But yeah, I'm a little sad I was too, starstruck to get to tell him that he's part of why I started wrestling myself. But then in retrospect, maybe it was probably for the better, because if he knew that, like, hey, you're my ideal for how I'm gonna wrestle, I don't think he would encourage that.
No, he would be like...
He's very much had, like, a million surgeries, and, like, it's like, hey guys, my body's falling apart, I kind of wish I treated it a little bit better back in the day. But also at the same time,
So essentially you just deceived your hero.
No, look, I'm just saying, it's probably for the better that I didn't explicitly tell him, like, oh, I'm gonna be like you.
I learned this from watching you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I learned it from watching you. But yeah, I don't know. It was so good though. It was so worth it. I had such a great time, and then it was like the middle of the day, and that's like, by the time I got out of there, I'm not normally awake by that time.
Yeah.
So I hit up one of my friends who lives in the area, and we hung out for the rest of the night. But
yeah, I saw when your pictures popped up on the Discord, and I was like, okay, everything went okay.
Yes, I'm alive.
I'm not gonna get a call from the FBI, you know.
No, I was very normal to Mick Foley, which is good.
That also would have been. I was very good. I was very normal to Mick Foley.
I was worried I wouldn't be.
I want that to be like, those like things where it's like a famous person, it's black and white picture, and there's an inspirational quote next to it, and it's just a picture of you like happy confident.
Yeah, and like a nice suit or something. Yeah, just like it was normal. Well, I was legitimately worried.
Someone needs to make that now,
right? I was legitimately worried because like I've gotten really like anxious before meeting people that I admire less than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god, because I remember back in September when I went and met a whole bunch of people from ECW, I had to like work up to talking to Sabu. Like I had to like step aside and like breathe for a second. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so bad about Mick Foley. Like I'm gonna like disassociate. Like I ate food and drank so much water beforehand, and I had like caffeine and everything. I was like, I am not going to pass out. I am not going to pass out. Oh no.
I know how metaphobic you are, so I'm not going to say it. But he reaches out his hand and just goes.
No. Oh thank God that didn't fucking. No, it's way more likely that I would have just like collapsed. But
you fall backwards, but you're not done, so it just keeps going.
Dude. Oh my God.
How was your day in New York? I've never seen anyone throw up that much.
No, I had like a breakfast sandwich or something, and then I had like water and caffeine, and I was just like, I will be normal.
Yeah.
Like, and I was, and it was great. So it helped also that like once the photographer acknowledged the barbed wire, I didn't have to be anxious about that anymore. I was like, we're good now, we're good.
I think you were in a place where like that was the least of your worries.
I just like stood out so much, and I know I always kind of do, but like. This is somewhere I didn't expect to, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, to a certain extent, me being me, but, like, I was like, oh, other people are going to be, like, dressed up.
I think the tits were going to go over well no matter what.
Well, yes, of course.
You know? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of dudes who are, the way they're shaped, they have big tits, too.
Right.
But I feel like yours were ones that the photographer was like, oh, thank God. You know, like...
Oh my god. And then, like, and I'm sure he was happy. I was very willing to pose. I was like, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Chill.
Is that how you posed?
No, so I did because that was the
oh,
the
okay. You went like that, though. Like you were the kid on the side of, like, the Fisher Price thing.
No, not like this. Like, I had my arm up like this. That's the elbow drop. I was doing the elbow drop with the barbed wire.
I know what it is.
I know, I'm just...
Don't treat me that way. Don't talk down to me.
But, no, I just, like, I didn't, like, and it's great, because, like, so we went to get the second picture, and he just kind of grabbed my arm, and I was like, I just froze, like, thank God I didn't pass out, like I said, but I was just like, oh, he just grabbed, he just touched, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because the first picture, I'm just, like, aiming the barbed wire away from him, so I'm just, like, I think, yeah, like, because, like, I noticed he was on my right side, so I kind of turned and did this, and then, yeah, he just, like, grabbed it, because he was, like, he pointed, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And everyone started chanting that was hardcore, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna memorialize this in my brain for a second, like, just perfect right there, that. And it is literally also immortalized because of the picture, so. It's great too, because so I've got the blue, right? Like this is like a greenish yellow, and this is the blue.
Yeah.
It looks purple because I'm blushing.
Okay.
So, you look at the picture, it's like, hey, these match, and then this is blue and this is purple. I was dying, but thankfully not as bad as I was expecting. I did not want a repeat of Sean Astin. I met him when I was like 16 or 17, and he could tell I was really anxious, so he took my hand, and I literally, like, passed out right there. Like, I caught myself, but, like, you know, I was just, like, woo, like, down for a second. And I did not want that to happen again. So,
but imagine also, like, you do pass out in this moment, and it caused the whole scene, so all the people behind you in line now can't get their autographs because you took the table out and the police have to come.
Thankfully, I was pretty, like, close to the back, so it wouldn't have inconvenienced too many people.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we're good. I didn't pass out.
People in line.
Right, I didn't pass out.
But then how do they follow up? Like, how does the person behind you follow up the person with the tits and the barbed wire? Like, that seems like that's a tall ask, you know?
What
if the next person, like, you walk away all happy, the next person, Mick Foley, looks at them and goes, so disappointing.
No, okay, look, I wasn't doing the tits for him, because I know that, you know, he's very happily married. He's a gorgeous wife.
I know, but you could be married and still look at tits.
I know, but I wasn't trying to, like, do that. I'm not trying to...
If I was married, I would still look at tits.
No, that's
like,
fair. No,
I'm married and have kids, apparently.
Saying, I wasn't, yeah, right. That wasn't my goal of wearing that. I wanted to look nice, and that dress is very flattering.
Yes.
So.
And you were excited, and the smile on your face was, in the picture, was rictus. Like you...
What do you mean?
You looked like you just inhaled the Joker gas. That's how happy you were, you know?
So fucking happy.
Well, that's good. So you had your Mick Foley moment.
I'm so happy. I knew at some point I was gonna have to meet him, like, right? I had to, but like I didn't. I just.
Maybe we don't lead with that when this goes to trial. I knew at some point I had to meet him.
At some point, no.
You're like the dude in the Bjork video.
Right? Oh God. But no, I just it kind of snuck up on me though, because I was super busy this weekend.
Yeah.
So I was like so focused on like my day to day. Like I was like, all right, so I have to do this because we were filming a whole bunch on Monday, and then I was really really sick Tuesday and Wednesday. You can still kind of hear it. I'm just a little congested. But I had like the worst fever for like 4 days. I tried to go back to training on Thursday, and I really, really shouldn't have, because even just sitting on the bleachers, I like passed out a couple of times.
Oh, cool.
So I shouldn't have done that.
Bang bang.
But yeah. I'm fine. So yeah, and then like Friday, I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Like I wasn't put on the schedule, and then I was super, super focused on having to do the show, especially because I was on music, so I was like paying attention all the time. And then like I was, you know, my day on Saturday was jam packed, and then like I think I pretty much it hit me when I got to you Saturday night, and I was like, oh my god, I'm meeting Mick Foley tomorrow, and I am not prepared. Yeah, it just came out of fucking nowhere because like I don't know what day it is. Right now.
To be fair, I did that today. I had a job interview over the phone, and the lady said something, and I was like, when do you want to do that? And she goes, well, today's Monday. I went,
oh, shit,
yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, no, it is. No, but I tried to play it off like I wasn't a complete and total fucking idiot.
No, because, like, fucking, That was the thing though, is I was like, oh yeah, March 17th, that's a ways out, right? It's not.
No, it's a ways behind us now.
Yeah, well, because even today, like when I was visiting my parents, sorry, my mom mentioned my brother's birthday, which is March 6th, and she was like, oh yeah, I gave him tortellini, because it's, he asked for it, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's why he's been having like nothing but tortellini for like a week now, because every time I go into the kitchen in the middle of the night, he's like heating up some water, and I'm like, hey man.
I imagine he's just like, the refrigerator is just darkness except for the light of the refrigerator, and he's just sitting in there like Gollum.
No, it's like a bag, like a dry bag of tortellini, and he's like cooking it. So like
that's even worse. You just hear the crunch, and he's just eating.
Yeah. Don't put it past us, honestly. But yeah, so I'm like coming in the kitchen, I'm like, hey man, how's it going? He's like, oh hey, I'm just making tortellini, and I'm like, oh neat. And then I roll up next to him, I was like, hey man, how's it going? He's like, oh, I'm just making tortellini. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You 2 in a row, I guess he's finishing the bag or whatever. And then like it happened like 2 more days, and I was like, bro, how much fucking tortellini are you? Like
it's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Right here, like.
But like it didn't. Obviously, it was whatever, right? Because I was like, oh yeah, that's Joseph's like that. He'll eat the same thing a million. I mean, I will too, honestly.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, he's having a tortellini cake.
You know what? Now that I know that it's Joseph, it would make sense if it was just dry
tortellini,
hollow noodles, because your brother is like made of like pipe cleaners.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out a move recently, like a wrestling move. And you may not like this segue where you're like, hey, Joseph's made out of pipe cleaners. I'm like, oh yeah, wrestling moves.
Well, no, you told me about this. That's
why
I
did.
set,
Okay,
that's why I set up this segue.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm
a YouTube fucking professional, man.
Oh right, real quick to finish tortellini thing
Yeah.
though. I was like, wait, how did she give him that for his birthday? That hasn't happened yet. Yeah, that was like 2-3 weeks ago. So I don't know what
To be fair, you also think it's 1997 sometimes because you're watching ECW.
Well, now it's 1995 because I went back to Nitro WCW, so it's simultaneously 1995, 1998, and 2000.
You're like a time traveler.
I am, isn't it great?
Do you think you could stop 9/11?
I mean, I guess I have to.
Can you stop me from going to work at Screenwave?
Definitely. I'm gonna miss 9/11 to do that. I know they're completely.
It's like kill Hitler, stop 9/11. Get Newt not to work at Screenwave. You do the one thing, and you're like, what were those other two things?
Other ones? That was something important I had to do. I'll go Flash Cronus again, I guess?
You're like, I thought I would never forget, but here we are.
Exactly. Oh, right. So, for those who don't know, I was trying to figure out something about a wrist lock, because I was taught one way, and then they were like, oh, do it this way, because it's more dramatic, basically. Yeah. And then I was trying to do it, like, at training, and I did the first part, and then I couldn't remember, like, which hand to take. And I was just thrown off for a second. So then I tried to go ask him about it, and he was busy. So, like, the guy who taught me. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just figure this out later. So then I get home, I'm like, hey, Joseph, can I, like, figure something out with you? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And he, he noodles on over. And I'm just like, all right.
And when I say noodles, yes, your brother is fucking built like a sloth.
Yeah. Like, unironically, like that. I point him out to customers at work by saying, that noodly-looking gentleman over there can help you. And they always, like...
Yeah, you mean Slender Man over there?
Like, they'll literally... Because he's, like, 6'2", but he weighs, like, I think, like, 30, 40 pounds less than I do.
Yeah.
So he's very noodly. Like, because the customer will look at me a little weird, and then they'll look at the guy that I'm pointing to, and they're like, oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
That makes sense.
But anyway, so I go to lock up with him. Like, I'm teaching him how to lock up. And, like, because I showed him real quick, and I went to lock up, and I was like, oh my god, I can just wrap my hand around his arm. Like, it was literally like, I was like, oh god, now I have to do a wrist lock on this? Okay. I kind of like, and he didn't know what I was doing, because he doesn't train to wrestle, so I like sort of tossed his arm and just kind of like let it flop, and I was like, I'm gonna break it!
Because he just like strikes me as like, his bones are made of saltines. Like, you can see his blood coursing through his skin.
So, like, I did the wrist lock successfully. I figured out the thing, but it was just great that I was just like, oh, God. And then it would flop, and I was just like,
You go like that to flop him, and then a gust of wind goes by. Well, now I only have one brother.
But especially because, obviously, I'm used to locking up with other people who are training.
Yes,
so, like,
beefy individuals.
Yeah, and then, then I locked up with Joseph, and I was like,
yeah.
So I had Paul over recently, someone from, someone I'm training with.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, Joseph, come here. I was like, all right, lock up with Paul real quick. And so he did.
And they start kissing, and he's like, not like that.
Oh, God. I'd be like, you know what? Fair enough.
I'm glad you two found each other.
Right. But yeah,
I'm going to go visit Newton, his wife and kids.
His wife and kids. Obviously. You talk about them on the street.
I talk about it all the time, my wife and kids. When you said that, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
When I read that, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why would, oh yeah, so I tell my wife and kids to go in the other room while we sit here and loudly drink alcohol and talk about sex stuff.
Yeah.
Or you put me in your clothing, and that alone is grounds for divorce. Like...
And then what about when I, nap here? Like,
yeah.
Wait,
I imagine, one time, now that I'm thinking about it, it's I imagine we're sitting here and we're talking about some shit, and we just look over to the corner and, my youngest child is looking through the thing, go back to bed,
he can't even come over.
I can't even, Kaylee, I don't know what a kid's name is.
Oh my god. No, yeah, he did this thing, because... when you lock up, you've got your hand on the person's arm like this, and then he just kind of slowly was like, and I'm like, yeah, exactly, right? Noodles. So, yeah.
Yeah, what was he eating?
Tortellini.
Tortellini noodles.
No, because that would, those are round,
I know.
though. But yeah, I don't know. It was great. I don't know.
Your life is fascinating. Your life and the things around your life... I imagine anthropologists need to break it down and be like, oh, I don't know what factors created this. This is a cacophony of errors that somehow formed into this
right.
Now add the violence aspect of wrestling into it, and it's just Oh
my god, I'm so happy.
Well, I'm glad you got to meet Mick Foley.
Me too. I showed my parents that as well. My stepmom does know who he is.
Yeah.
I think my dad does.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, would I know this guy? I'm like, probably, but I don't know the fastest way to get you that information.
Yeah.
Because he's also acted in a couple of things.
Yeah.
Right, you obviously know.
Well, I know, because, again, going back to it, he worked on a Santa Claus documentary, so I met him through Frank Williams and Tommy Avalone while they were doing that, and then he also did another documentary with them that I met him on, and that was how when we were at Astronomicon, he was there, but he was dressed as Dude Love all weekend.
Hell yeah.
So I wound up going up to his manager or whoever was there. Yeah. I said, hey, one of the girls who used to, not the girl who I was with who was on the show, but another one wanted to meet him, and I said, I worked with Mick Foley on this documentary. Yeah. Like, oh yeah. So she got to go to the thing, and never got thanked for that. I still get blocked on Twitter, even though I got her to meet mankind. Oh my God. This is why you need to use your time traveling abilities to go back and fix all
obviously.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh yeah, and I showed my parents my birthday chair shot also, because I begged one of my fellow students to meet me with a chair for my birthday, because it fell on a training day, and he did, and I was so excited. But yeah, I showed my parents the video on mute, perhaps. But yeah, yeah, and I showed them me going off top rope unassisted. It was super great. I'm just I don't know.
You're all excited, and it all started because our Discord was like, we're gonna watch wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was like, I feel like you'd like wrestling. You like violence,
and
right?
you just were like, I'm just gonna go along with this.
Yeah, well, at first I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll watch it at some point eventually. Yeah. Anytime I get recommended media, it's like, oh yeah, I'll put that on my list maybe if I feel like it.
You have a Dead Sea Scrolls of movies that I've told you to watch.
Yeah. That note has been in production for the past 10 years.
Well, I see. Strangers on the internet are just more important than me, I guess.
Oh my god. Well, no, because literally. Oh yeah, but if I want to give the full origin story, because I think I have, but still. Yeah, June 27th. I think it was 2:00 in the morning. I had just gotten off of work. So it's probably 2:30.
Yeah.
And they had been talking about showing me ECW previously, but then one of them was like, isn't that a little black tar heroin for a newbie to wrestling? And I was like, do tell.
Tell me more.
And I had never cared about wrestling before this. But then, I get home, it's 2 in the morning, I check Discord, and Neil was like, hey, I can't sleep, I'm streaming some ECW, if anyone wants to hop in. I'm like, I'm down for a voice call, let's go see what's up. hooked immediately.
And what is our wrestling channel called?
Did we come up with a name?
No, on the in the Discord.
Oh, it's Redneck Anime. Yeah. So I don't know. I think. Do I have anything else to say about? I mean, I have a lot of things to say about wrestling.
Yeah.
But anything relevant? Probably not.
With this channel, relevancy
That's
is
fair.
never the key here.
Yeah, no, it's a complete coincidence that I started watching, and now it's been 7-8 months, I think. It's June 27th.
But it's not even just like, oh, I got into wrestling. Now you are wrestling.
Yes. That's
And
what,
that's
that's what I was
the
about to
cool
say. It's been
fucking
like
thing.
7-8 months, and I am in wrestling training. Like,
Yeah. Somebody was like,
I can give a suplex, okay?
Yeah.
Like, insane.
But somebody was like going down the thing, and they're like, okay, so they're like, it's a weird like butterfly flaps its wings in Sarajevo kind of thing. Like, okay, so you're on another YouTube show, you get fired, you become a joke, you start a thing, the only friend who will come hang out with you starts doing your thing. That friend starts watching wrestling. That person falls in love with wrestling. Now that person becomes a wrestler, all because of this. And I was like, yeah, but then where do I fit in that story? And they were like, your friend's gonna be a wrestler. And I was like, I guess.
Well, no, because like that is interesting that like Screenwave is kind of relevant because you said they're really big wrestling fans.
Well, all of a sudden they are.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Because you've gotten into wrestling,
Really?
so all of a sudden, certain people want to get into wrestling, from what I've been told.
Oh.
And if that does happen, I would love to see you two wrestle. You know, we can make it for charity.
I'm so down.
Then everybody's happy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I could. I could fight the other dude, but I don't think I could wrestle him.
Okay.
Because I just think with the weight advantage.
Yeah.
But if it came to just like fucking like punching,
Yeah.
I could do that.
But sorry, the idea of
Because I just imagine you holding
the person in question.
red hair up and the like screaming with the head like you fucking just killed Medusa. Like,
oh my god.
So yeah, so you know, good for them, and but I'm more excited about your wrestling.
You're making a lot of progress.
Yeah, and we're all. I mean, I was telling you the other night, we're gonna with your first match. We're gonna fucking turn it into a fucking thing, man.
I will let you.
I'm gonna lie to people and just say that like, oh, so and so is gonna be there, and then just so you have like the full reign of the place, and then so when they find out that person's not there, we're gonna fucking take off so we don't get killed, you know.
Right. No, I will definitely let you guys know. It will probably be at one of our so every Friday night, Monster Factory is a free show. It's usually about an
And
hour
also,
long.
if people are just lying to me and saying that people are getting into wrestling to try to piss me off because they know they're trying to steal thunder from my friend, it's kind of fucked up if you would lie. I think I would just have to put that out there allegedly because I don't know for sure. I know that dude I used to work with was a big wrestling fan, but if people are just lying to me just to kind of rile me up and get me pissed off that people are trying to minimize your passions, then don't do that.
Thank you.
Legally, I have been forced to say
that. Oh, right. So yeah, whenever my first match is going to be, it is most likely going to be on a Friday night, and it'll be at one of our free shows, TRL, Total Wrestling Live.
Okay, because every time you say that, I imagine Carson Daly's going to be there.
Yeah, I had the same reaction.
Yeah.
And I was like, TRL? Okay. But no, I'm going to try to get as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I
We'll
wouldn't
turn
be
into
doing
a
this.
whole schlocking all night, you know?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
I can't wait till we could have your merch in the store.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're going to have your wrestling merch in there.
Yeah.
I said I want to shoot like a straight up 1990s VHS tape of your like wrestling shit, you know? With like super analog credits and everything. Because there's the part-time job I'm doing right now has a whole wrestling section of DVDs and stuff like that. And I was like going through stuff, and there was like some older stuff that was transferred, and I was like, it'd be kind of cool to do shit like this, you know?
Would I even? If it's VHS, I even know of a company that could put it out.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I'm
See?
getting old. I'm apologizing.
Do you want to tell people what your wrestling name is, or waiting?
Oh, no. Okay, my ring name is Phoenix. It's standalone name for now. But yeah, we'll see how that develops. I'm gonna be obviously going with a fire motif. And I do still want to incorporate my back piece and figure out how that goes. I don't know. It's gonna be really good. My character's developing faster than I was expecting it to. I think it's gonna end up being a lot more me than I was originally planning. Because initially I was like, oh, I won't do the lines. Like, I won't do my cloak or anything. Like, it's gonna be different because that's me. That's like shoot me, you know. So I want it to be different. But then it's like, I was advised to continue wearing it.
Yeah, because you're already a wrestling character. Why not just
and
like in everyday life, like all you like, it's like, well, I'm already doing this. Now we just add a ring to it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So and that's why I guess I kind of got like lost in like I need to be someone other than me because that's this is me and that's my gimmick. And then I forgot that was like why everyone said I should wrestle in the first place.
Clip when they do the true Hollywood story of like your downfall. Like when you get all like addicted to like coke and painkillers and that, they're just gonna use that clip where it's like you're just like, I just want to create the separation between myself and the character, and it's just like,
and then it turns black and white.
And it's like
that's my dead body. Yeah. But no, what was I going with that? Yeah, no, I forgot that like 90% of the reason that everyone's been like, you need to wrestle, aside from my propensity for violence, is that I just look like a wrestler already, and I have that vibe, apparently. I don't know how I feel about that sometimes, because when I learn things about wrestlers, most of the time they're awful. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're not. There's some really, really nice people.
I mean, as long as you don't use the N-word, you won't be like Hulk Hogan.
I have no intention of doing that.
All right, you passed that test.
Great. It's a really low bar.
Exactly. That's how bad celebrities are.
Yeah, but no, I do not intend to be a piece of shit. I don't know.
You ever see like because he let his friend, or he had his friend like Man Cow or something film a sex tape?
Mantar?
No, there's he was like a guy who filmed the sex tape with like Hulk Hogan and his wife or something, or the girlfriend, I don't know what it was. And then like in court, he had to say like on the record like, well, Terry, whatever his name is, doesn't have a 10-inch penis, but Hulk Hogan does. And I thought that was so funny. I was like, that's in court recording somewhere, you know? Like,
yeah.
So I'm so looking forward to reading the transcript of your court proceedings.
As if you would not be front and center. They would want to know everything.
I agree. And then it just periodically...
But you wouldn't snitch, would you? No.
Oh, fuck no. I like my arms and legs where they are. It was then that Phoenix beat their former co-host to death with his own arms. Cops like, seen a lot of terrible things in my life, but I never seen a hematoma that big before.
Oh my god.
When you're roid raged out, you know?
Yes.
You go into the ring with the needle still in your ass. Like,
oh my god.
I'm here to fight and fuck! Who's it gonna be? Dudes in the audience are pulling their own dicks off and throwing them and running away. Like,
oh my god. We were making some jokes recently, because I rather obviously have big ass tits. I was gonna say that a lot more tactfully, but first of all, no, I was gonna say that a lot more tactfully, and then I just didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
hold on to make sure YouTube. Can you say that again, but say it softer?
Oh.
Or say it in a more playful way.
More playful way. Okay. Now.
Obviously, I have big ass titties.
Obviously, I have huge tits.
There you go. YouTube won't flag it now.
No, but once you're done drinking that, so I'm learning holds, right? And I learned the headlock, and I'm just gonna put you in a headlock.
Okay,
you're gonna see why I brought this up.
All right.
So that's more.
Oh no!
Like it'd be a little bit different because we're supposed to be standing, but that's more.
This
or less.
is the worst ever.
So
hold on, do it again. Oh no! I guess you win.
Tap out. No. But yeah, so
I would never make it as a wrestler.
lot of
he loses so easily, and he always gets erection.
Yeah, one of the other students was making jokes about like because we were talking about me accidentally saying inappropriate stuff during training because that's me. But
hold on, wait. I think I know how to get out of that. Try it again. Ready? Nope, I was wrong. Are you ready again?
Anyway, he starts making jokes about everyone. Like when I do finally get my first match, I'm like, who wants to wrestle me? Everyone just starts volunteering.
Yeah.
Like, me.
Wow, so many people
All the
want
refs
to
come out like, hey,
Yeah.
I'll do
So
it.
many people want to wrestle you. You must be really hated.
Oh,
yes,
God.
that's what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
So you met Mick
I
Foley,
did.
and you're going to be a wrestler,
Yes.
and we're eventually going to get you to do a wrestling podcast,
Yes.
and we'll use this as like a backdoor pilot.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, because I don't know what I'm going to end up talking about, but we'll figure it out. Because I'm now watching, I mentioned...
It could just be 20 minutes of you putting guys in headlocks.
I think that should go on a different website.
That's very true.
But, yeah, no, because I've been watching Attitude Era WWF, and I might keep going with some of the, like, the WWE stuff. Obviously, I'm going to completely watch ECW, and I've been watching WCW Nitro. So, and like some of the Saturday and Sunday night, there are so many programs. But yeah, so I'll be able to talk about things. Just, you know, nothing more recent than like 2005.
That's fine, we can do that. And then we can just also do your, you know, keeping up with your thing. And when you finally get in ring the first night, we're gonna film everything. And
of course.
if you lose, it's gonna be awesome.
It's fine.
We're just gonna fucking just troll you.
It's fine. Yeah, we'll see. Because what may end up happening, and because this happened to a couple people with their in-ring debut, they'll be put in like a Royal Rumble or like a Battle Royale. So like, I'll be one of the crowd at first, and then I'll get a singles match later. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what ends up being the case.
Right.
And then I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this actually. So
sorry, no, our videos aren't showing up in people's feeds anyway.
Well,
so
this is more of a teaser where like I'm gonna come back and if I can talk about it, I'll announce it to you guys. But I may be how do I word this? There may be something to watch prior to my in-ring debut.
Okay.
We'll see.
You're gonna read slam poetry?
Yes,
because it's wrestling.
Yeah, it should be listing all the moves that have slammed.
Yeah,
power slam, body slam. You know,
you're a regular in-ring Maya Angelou.
Oh my God. But yes, I don't know. I think that's it.
All right, cool. That's it. Yeah. All right, so that is Metz's New York adventure, meeting Mick Foley, talking about wrestling. And I got to figure out how to get out of a headlock.
Yes.
So I think every review we do from now on, I will continue. Yeah, and you know, and sometimes in lower cut tops or whatever, because I need to know, like, you know, does it trigger when you're against skin? You know. So I really need to get a sense of the ring and human anatomy and all these kind of things, because I take this very seriously.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys know that or not. I'm not just talking about movies and stuff like that. You know, I'm trying to better myself. All right, that's it. Bye.
Bye.